it takes a lot to piss me off because I'm so mellow all the time that you really have to do something major to me that just really ticks me off. And right now, I'm beyond ticked. I'm actually infuriated. So, as far as my rant about the the whole IPP video situation. So, I got home from, well, the day after I worked, I was actually off or whatever like that. And I get a phone call from my nurse manager or whatever, and she's telling me, oh, well, you know, Stephanie, the whole situation that we had talked to you about the other day, well, come to find out that it caused a negative effect and we're going to have to revisit your site after all. And I was like, well, what negative effect? Like, did you lose patients like you said you were going to lose? And she was like, well, no, it's not that. I said, okay, well, did the hospital all of a sudden decline its revenue or something like that? She was like, well, no. And I said, so then what's the problem? Because those are actually the ones that they stated to me. And she goes and she says, well, you know, the doctor, the one who performs the procedures, he's saying that he does not want you to deal with his patients. And I was like, really? And she was like, oh, so because of that, we're going to have to suspend you. And I said, suspend me for what? She was like, well, the thing is that we can't guarantee that you're not going to deal with his patients because, you know, his patients come in like all the time and everything. So to be able to guarantee that you're not going to have his patients, that's something that we can't do. So we're going to have to suspend you. First off, mind you, I do have my certificate in tele. His patients are hardly ever downstairs in telemetry, which is our cardiac floor. They could have put me down there to avoid me having to see his patients. Unnecessarily, I did not need to be suspended. I could have easily been moved to another unit in the hospital. That's one. Secondly, who the fuck told the doctor? Now, mind you, the day before she called me, I was at work. I had one of his patients. They didn't have that particular procedure. They had a different procedure done. And he had actually wrote the wrong orders for that patient. He wrote orders for a patient who would have had that procedure, but that's not what he had done. Now, mind you, the orders are completely off. And I noticed it when I was checking my chart. Before I do anything in the morning, I check my charts against everything to make sure that everything's legit, everything's straight, you know, that I'm not going to make any little errors or whatnot. And I noticed this. So I told my charge nurse and I said, well, you know, sometimes I do get busy since it's so early in the morning. And I placed a call out to him. So if he should call and I just happen to be busy or whatever, I'm letting you know what the situation is. So you can go ahead and let him know and we can get it straightened out. He didn't respond to my call. He actually came in to see his patients. Mind you, he didn't even go see that patient that had the problem. If I had not heard, more like recognized his voice in the hallway while I was in the patient's room, I would have never known that he was there. He would have came and left because he didn't come and see the patient to begin with. So I went out of the room, went to go see him, and I let him know. I said, well, doctor, you know, such and such and such and such. He was like, oh, well, thank you for letting me know, and he fixed it right then and there, blah, 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 boom, no problem. Now, mind you, if he had a problem with me at that point, he did a very good job at not showing it. Or maybe, which I suspect really, is that he had no idea who I was. He knew nothing about me. He knew nothing about the video. Not a damn thing.